Last night, the Surgeon General said something very interesting, and when you put it in context with other pieces of information, it reveals something that might not be widely known, but is known in very small circles. There is an allegation that there are multiple strains of this going around. That's fine. That's not a secret. What the secret might be is that the strains interact. And I'd like to kind of walk you through why I think this is the case. And it really does explain what seems to be a very illogical policy about the whole masks and 6 feet thing. Now, last night I was also watching Kim Iverson, and she had mentioned this thing that many people have alleged, that it was here far earlier than most believe. A lot of people, like myself, got sick. Didn't know what it was. Based on the description of the symptoms now, it's very, very likely that what I had was something like this. This nagging cough, the exhaustion, everything. It all goes right along with it. But the reason I think the two viruses actually interact is this. The allegation has been that there's one mild virus and one serious one, which is what you would think initially. But that wouldn't really make sense because the distribution is wrong. Why do I say that? Well, we see about 75, 80, 85% of the people that get quote-unquote COVID-19 self-resolve, as they say, meaning they can deal with the problem by just going to Walgreens or just toughing it out. But then we also see this much smaller percentage that get this, and it's almost a death sentence. Now, that would make you think, okay, there's mild version over here, and there's, serious version over here. But why would it be spread out 85-15? Why wouldn't it be 50-50? Given that the serious version makes the person so much more virulent. That's why they're having to FaceTime goodbye to their loved ones. Contagious. Why are they so much more contagious? Here's what I really think is going on, and this is what I was trying to talk about some time ago, and I couldn't really get the idea out right. Talking about the logic argument of why wearing a mask doesn't protect you, but protects someone else. Now, I'm going to try to explain this in the clearest way I possibly can. There is virus A, and there is virus B. Virus A and virus B are virtually identical by themselves. They are a mild form of the cold. No threat to anybody. But if you have virus A and you haven't developed enough antibodies to it to put it down completely, and you're still just getting over it, and then you encounter virus B, virus A and virus B combine and become this third thing. That's so much worse. Now, in this context, it would be the perfect bioweapon, because you would be able to introduce this, virus A over here, virus B over there, and it would be innocuous. They would be innocuous by themselves. But then, all that would have to happen would be one person who has a normal flu interacting with another person that has a normal flu. And then all of a sudden, everything goes haywire. And nobody understands why. When they test for one or the other, they get the results they think they're going to get. That they have one or the other, not realizing the interaction of the two. I think they know this because think of the idea that says, and the reason I brought up these pictures is this, that if I'm wearing a mask and you're not wearing a mask, my wearing a mask protects you, but your not wearing a mask doesn't protect me. Now, how could that ever be true? Why would that mask not protect us? If we both had, let's just say, virus A. If I have virus A and you have virus A and we've both had it, we're both building antibodies to it, we're no threat to each other, right? Virus B, same thing. Now, what if I've had virus A and I'm just getting over it, I'm in the last stages of it, and I'm doing all right. But you have virus B, and you don't know you have it yet because you're not building symptoms, and then you introduce virus B to me. All of a sudden, I get really, really, really sick really, really, really fast. The reason I say this is because there is this story out there that keeps coming up about these healthy people, supposedly no underlying conditions, no other health issues, my age, 50, 40, 45, 50, that all of a sudden get a cold. And then the cold becomes something way, way, way different. And in a matter of a week to 10 days, they are beyond help. They need a respirator to even breathe. But the other 85% of the people are just dealing with it like they would the normal common cold. What is it? It's not just elderly people now. It's not just immunocompromised people. I truly, honestly believe there is some type of an interaction going on that they know about. That's the reason they're saying, stay 6 feet away from everyone and wear a mask. Because even though you may think you've gone out and you've beaten it, virus A and or virus B, if you get introduced to the other strain, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Very few people have beaten virus C, I guess we'll call it, that derivative that comes from the mixture of the two. Now, I know this is all theory, this is all speculation, I get that. But you would have to wonder why someone would say a mask doesn't protect you, it protects the other person. Why would they have pushed away so much from this idea of herd immunity? Why would they have done what they've done to the world economy over this? What I really think they know is that if virus A and virus B mix, there's nearly a 100% fatality rate. And that's why we're only seeing this tiny, tiny sliver of people get it. I mean, versus the whole. I mean, when you look at there's over 1 million cases now, and you look at the deaths, it's a tiny percentage. That's the group of people that have been exposed to both. And this is what they're trying to stop. And I think that's why we're seeing it in places like New York. We saw it in Louisiana, Mardi Gras, people come in from all over the world. Seattle. But we're not seeing huge outbreaks in Florida. We have the highest percentage of elderly people in the whole country. Why aren't we seeing huge swaths of elderly Floridians getting very, very, very sick? There are Floridians who are sick, and there are people anecdotally around the country that are getting this, but we're not seeing the death rates. This is what I think they're trying to do with social distancing, is that they're not trying to prevent one virus or the other virus. They're trying to prevent the combination of the two. And this was the allegation made by the Iranians, is that there were two strains Sorry about that. And this is an article from early March. This might be the thing that they're not saying to keep people from panicking. Because they would have to say, if you get both, there's nothing we can do. Kind of like rabies, in the sense that once you show symptoms, it's over. Even Ebola that evolves past a certain stage, there's nothing they can do. I wonder if, and this would also go right along with the idea of this being a bioweapon. One strain by itself is not. The other strain by itself is not. The genius of it is that the way they interact. And that might be why we saw what we saw on the aircraft carrier. They were fine. They had a few cases. They stopped in Vietnam. Maybe somebody picked up virus B. Maybe they'd all had virus A, and everybody was just getting over virus A. No problem. And then somebody went out and got virus B. Well, they brought virus B back aboard, and of course virus B by itself is just, the same as virus A. But then that got going around and mixing with the other virus, and then now we have this thing that's virtually unstoppable. Like I said, I know it's just a theory, but the Iranians aren't stupid people. The Persians are very, very smart. And this is kind of their wheelhouse, so to speak. So I really, really wonder, because there's so many things, and this is why a lot of people have taken issue with this. Like, this doesn't make sense. How can you have 85% of the people be affected just like a normal common cold, but these other 15% have it be something ever so much worse? And not just, initially we thought it was just elderly people. It's like, okay, they get this thing and they just get sick. It's not that anymore. There are healthy people getting this and getting so unbelievably deathly ill that it doesn't make sense for someone who's young and strong. And it would also make sense as to what they are trying to do, shutting down the whole country. Because once virus C gets going, it becomes so contagious, it's unstoppable. But to get to virus C, you have to be exposed to virus A and virus B. I know that seems very confusing, but it's the only way it makes sense for this whole story about the masks not protecting you. The masks protect others. That's silly in the extreme. Unless a virus you have is only deadly to that other person because they've had another virus. A whole bunch of people, all with virus A, can all walk around in the same room with no masks, and they're not any risk to anyone else because everyone else has been exposed. Same thing with virus B. But nobody knows who's had virus A or who's had virus B. That's why they need to do the testing. To figure out, okay, this group of people here, they have this group of people there, they have that group is a high risk to this group. And we need to keep them from mingling. Which is why I don't think we're going to see huge outbreaks in the Midwest. We're not going to see huge outbreaks in places where there aren't large groups of global travelers. And you would have thought for sure Orlando would have been overrun by now. 60 million unique international visitors every single year. And they didn't shut that down until early March, when it was still, going all around the world. Why haven't we seen that? One of the reasons is that most of the international visitors don't mix with the people of Orlando, the actual people that live there. They do the rides and they kind of stay within the parks. And some of the airports are like literally right on top of the park. So, you just take your Uber or your taxi back and forth. I think that's why a lot of the rural areas are going to be protected from this, but it's just going to take one. That's the thing. So, anyway, I know just a theory, just a thought, but what do you think? Like, share, subscribe.